Thank you for coming. It's really cold outside, so I'm really thankful that you guys could make it.
Yeah.
This is your directorial debut, but you have worked on a lot of big-ticket movies before this. Laksh, PK, Swades, big names, Luck by Chance. How different was this experience from that, and what did you take from there into this movie?
So previously I was working as a first assistant director. The job profile is very different than from a director. There you have to solve every kind of problem. Like half the time you can't think of anything creative or the story. I felt directing was much more relaxing for me because I was answerable only to myself. There was like nobody, I didn't have a sword over my head. So I was much more relaxed because I think I kind of knew what I wanted and I knew I only had myself to answer to. So it was much simpler.
Directing might have been simpler, but the story was not. It had so many threads into it, so many social issues, so much complexity. And did you write it that way? Was it all written that way? Or did a lot of it come from the directing itself as you realized how complex a story you wanted to tell?
This is, I think you might have read in the booklet that it's my bittersweet memory of Manipur. And I think all these, the most memorable part of anything for me was my childhood. Whether it was in Manipur or in the hostel where I met people like Raju. So at one point, I never thought this was going to be a script or I was going to make it. I was just wanting some sort of closure about a lot of things. And I just wrote it as a story. And it was literally luck by chance that I got to make a film. And everything was already there in the script level. Like there was nothing that changed or anything during the course of shooting the film. It was, for me, the written stuff is very sacred. So I think most of that I had already put it down and I didn't want to change things until it was by, like you can't help it. There's the rain happening, you have to change the shot. Like the bus scene, I had to shoot twice because it started pouring like crazy. We did in rain and then the sun came out. So those kind of things, you change, you adapt. But everything else was on paper.
You said it's a story of your bittersweet memory of Manipur, and I think we would be remiss if we did not mention that what happened right after you shot the film and the conflict that broke out. And now that you look back at this film and see that moment of tension in which it is set, you can already see some of the tensions. How do you feel about that?
I was there that night in Manipur, and I saw it happen. Like there was smoke coming into my bedroom. There was so much of fire. So when I came back to Mumbai after the shoot, it was very difficult to look at the footage because everything was reminding me of what was there before. And so overnight, like people became emotionally divided. So what we were during the shoot, people from different communities were part of the shoot. They all came together and suddenly it was not the same. Boong, the boy playing Boong, his name is Boong. He's from the Kukri community. So, and he was the first person I knew. They were made to leave their home just the next day, and he has not been able to go back home. It pains me, like the first thing when he asked me, when he came for technical dub to Mumbai was, "Auntie, can you please go to my school in Imphal and take a picture?" He missed his friends, he left his parrot at home, and yeah, it was very emotional that, I never thought we could meet again because the situation is such, but I'm very, very hopeful because the people of Manipur are very resilient and we'll find somehow a way forward.
You mentioned, Gugun, you worked with two amazing young actors. And what is it like working with kids, but who are also professional actors, how do you tell them what to do? How do you bring them into the story?
So firstly, Gugun and Sana Matum, who are playing Boong and Raju, I've never acted before, ever. And also, Gugun doesn't speak our language. So he learned a completely new language for the movie. And but what was really nice is that because they were not actors, whatever they did was very spontaneous, and they reacted to a situation very spontaneously and right, like, it was almost like, okay, this is a honest reaction that was coming from within. So I only sat through some scenes with them. I would call them to my house and we would do kind of like a workshop, but I never told them how to act because I thought that would be too rehearsed. I would just tell them what the situation is, and then I would ask them, how do you feel? And then Gugun would be like, oh, my father is not coming back today, so I'm really sad. I said, yeah, that is what you're feeling right now. And that's how, I mean, for people who have never ever even acted in a play, I think the two boys, they gave their best.
They were absolutely amazing. I don't think any one of us could have guessed that they would have never acted before. About the character of Boong himself, he's a very precocious child, very energetic, creative, sets his mind on a goal and then looks at ways to achieve it. Did you draw on your personal experience for this? Were you a child like that?
Yeah, it's me and all my obnoxious friends, like we were rascals, and all our rascalhood I put in this film. So it's like a virgin prayer that happened in my school hostel. So most of the thing that is in the film has happened at some point or the other. And barring the scene where in the cinema, the fake cinema hall, that, I mean, if that exists in Manipur, that person would be killed. But I had heard a story about this old lady in our neighborhood who had a grocery store. In the front and the back, she was, secretly renting out DVDs of Hindi films. And eventually she was caught. So it had clicked in my head somewhere, and that's how that scene came from.
The movie itself is very vividly made. There are a lot of colors, there's a lot of sounds, everything gives you the feel for what Manipur is. Some of us have been there, but a lot of us have not had that experience. How did you make sure that you stay true to the authenticity of Manipur?
So there was one thing, even though I've been a first AD, I don't know the technical aspect of cinema or directing is very different. So this is what the brief to all the HODs for me was the reference is Manipur. I don't want to see pictures and photographs from other people's films or XYZ, this, that. We have to, you have to see, experience Manipur and put it. And I think that's why, all our locations are real locations. Everything is real except for the Myanmar side of it because they were having a civil war at that time. But we captured Manipur, I think, more or less. And it was literally BYOC, bring your own costume. BYOP, bring your own prop. So it was kind of and that also goes with, I guess, is low budget films. So, but that helped. So it didn't look like, for me, since I work in so many films, I was trying to see that it doesn't look so propish or too art directed, and we try to stay as real as possible, keeping Manipur in mind.
I know that this was one of Trisha's favorite films, absolutely. Shouts out to Trisha. She said she wanted to jump in and do a quick question, but I photobomb you. And I think we cried both times that we watched the movie, and again this time I don't think there is a dry eye here. It was extremely emotional, extremely sentimental for us. I'm going to quickly jump over for a couple of quick audience questions. We'll take a couple of audience questions.
From Julie.
Who's that? Mandeep.
Yes. As a fellow Manipuran, first, congratulations. What a wonderful movie. And I just want to underline the message, the prayer that you had at the end. As she mentioned, the point playing a cookie, the Ameti boy is actually a cookie. These are two committees who have been at loggerheads for some time now. the girl who's playing a Pookie is actually a Maiti, and the boy who plays a Marwari, an outsider, is actually also a Maiti.
Yeah,
So down under, we are all the same.
yeah.
And it's very difficult to distinguish. We are all safe, and I really want to reiterate your prayer, and we really hope peace returns to Manipur.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, it's raw.
Oh, thank you for coming, Kurumjari.
I just wanted to know, what other project you had in the pipeline, like what saw on it.
I
I think it's like this film, and then I want to know, coming up in the future.
So even this film was not supposed to be a film, until I had the story. So I hope, I hope there's something that I want to tell as desperately, and then only it'll happen. Right now I'm not beating myself that I have to write a story, and I just want something that I want to tell again and share again so desperately. So I'm waiting for that. So not immediate.
Yeah.
No, this quick question. All the night people say the streaming platforms are when a new avenues for independent cinema. Have you found that to be the case for this film in India, Brett?
So we haven't approached anyone yet right now because we are still doing festivals. But the good thing with with having the streaming platform, at least for independent filmmakers, there's a hope that your film might get screened somewhere. Otherwise, as you know, in India, it's mainly Bollywood, and other people don't really get a chance. So I hope that we also get a platform like a lot of other filmmakers here who came from India. They have got released in platforms like Comments Film yesterday. So there's hope. Let's see.
I'm going to quickly get a question in. Okay, no, I see you at the back.
Well, studies talk.
Where did you study cinema?
I did study cinematography. I just did a mass communication course in Jamia Mass Communication Center in Delhi, which was like just basic, photography, street theater, etc., etc. But not like a comprehensive course like at TII.
Okay. You told that you wrote this as best in a story. I want to know what was the moment you decided to use it to bring on.
Actually, it was at my father's cremation. I was so angry because there were so many do's and don'ts. And actually, the story also came because I was taking care of him and I stopped working. He was very ill, so was my aunt, both of them, two senior citizens in Mumbai. And when at his cremation, I don't know, something snapped in me because people don't ask you how you're feeling or anything. They just start throwing stuff at you. And I think it came from a place of pain and anger. But I don't know, luckily in most of these situations, somehow I find something to laugh about later. So that was a starting point. And I think I took a trip to More. My friends took me because my father always said that he wanted to take me to More, but he could not. And all the scenes were just coming. It was like I could just see everything. All my anger, everything came like I just had to let it out, and it became this. It was not. It was. It was more angry than the comedy that is there via Boong and Raju.
I actually wanted to ask you about that. We are dealing with two very serious themes here, one on the personal family side and one on the societal side. And yet you brought out a lot of moments where everyone laughed out loud. We really connected with the characters. So how do you make sure you keep that balance? How do you make sure it is still fun and enjoyable and yet the serious message gets across?
I don't know. I think it's like, I mean, I have no answer to that really. I don't know, because I think that is kind of my personality also. Like, even if I'm talking about a conflict to maybe like later outside, I'll have something to joke about. So I guess it's also maybe to do with studying mass communication in some way, because we had a subject called puppetry, where it is more easy to convey things by a puppet, you know, than by an adult, like, you know, talking down at people. So I think with having a child, through a child's story, you can do a lot of things which you can't, and you don't feel that you're being lectured. So I think, yeah, somehow everything just blended in. It was nothing like planned that I have to. I just wanted to tell a child's story from a child's point of view, like my grandmother's folk tales, and yeah.
Could you speak up a little, please?
Enjoy the song.
Thought about the previous person movie. Can you tell me gently what about PSC and career which want to create money?
Oh, so you're talking about the trans community, right? I couldn't hear you properly. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So we have this ancient. Our culture is quite different from the rest of India, and we have this ancient gods, the worshipping of it, and we have a huge shaman culture. Shaman, you know, the oracles like priestess, and they were all male. So the transgender thing first came from there, and it is as old as God knows. And the transgenders in Manipur is a very, very, very strong community. They are all activists. They make sure that each and every one gets to work. They're so proud of themselves. And I've always interacted with people from the community since I was small. So it was definitely going to come in my film, you know, because I wanted to someday tell a story. It's not a story about them, but somewhere it was something I wanted to share.
Last question, and then I will do one question and we close up.
Yes. Thanks for the movie. It was amazing. I wanted to ask, what do you think would have been the gift that JJ gave the kids at the end?
Sorry, what is the gift that JJ gave the kids at the end?
JJ, or you mean the boy gave the mother?
Started off JJ.
Oh, it was something battery operated. Yeah, definitely battery operated. That's what the border market is filled with battery operated stuff, decent ones. You'll have to live with that suspense.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. You said a little bit about closure, and that was something I was thinking about while watching this movie. It's not a happy ending, but it's a movie that leaves you with this sense of closure, of this sense of not being left unsettled. And how important was that for you to get into the series?
Get into the movie or get into the closure part of it, or what are you talking?
How important was closure for you in this?
Extremely important. Like, closure is a subject that is most important for me, because half the problems in the world, I think, is because of lack of closure. Whether it's, you know, between friends, in relationships, between places. Like what is happening right now in Manipur is a conflict as from 100 years ago. There's no closure. What's happening in, you know, whether it's Israel, Palestine, it's all, closure is something which is so important for me. And the fact that he had to burn the poster was like, for me, personally for me, it is a sign of empowerment. Because once you burn something, you can't retrieve it back. So you have to move on. You know, so Boong is symbolic of all the people who have to move forward. And that was, the closure was a gift that he gave his mother. So extremely important concept for me.
Thank you so much, Laxmipriya, for this beautiful movie and for taking it up.